What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm here to break down the NBA slate on Draftkings on February 2nd. We're into February now. Got a nice little 6-game slate to break down today. A lot of pretty solid games to talk about. If you're new here, make sure to leave a like on this video and subscribe to this channel. Leave a comment, turn on notification bell. All that stuff really helps me grow. Trying to continue to grow. If you want to get more of my content, you can always subscribe to my Patreon, where you're going to get not this spreadsheet you see on the screen, but a different spreadsheet with more stats and more data that with projections as well. That's really going to help your DFS choices be better. And then you're always also going to get all my game-by-game notes and rankings for every single slate as well. So be sure to check that out. I'll put the link down below. But that's really all I got to say. Let's get into the breakdown, where we're going to start out with the Orlando Magic players. They're playing off against the Toronto Raptors today. This game is the lowest total game on the slate. I really don't like this game at all. But there's some value on Orlando because of the injury to Aaron Gordon. Game only has a total of 214.5, not great. So Aaron Gordon's going to miss 4 to 6 weeks. He had a really badly sprained ankle in the last game. And that's going to allow Gary Clark, more than likely, I would expect Gary Clark is going to start this game. Obviously, if it's not Gary Clark, I'm not going to be interested in him. But the last time I saw Aaron Gordon not play, Gary Clark played 35 minutes. And at $3,300, 35 minutes, that's going to be a great value. I mean, it just can't really pass it up today. It's just going to look great. And then Nikola Vucevic is also going to pick up some usage at $8,200. He'll look pretty solid with extra usage without Aaron Gordon. Not a ton, but enough usage bump that's going to make him look like a pretty solid play today. And then Cole Anthony's $5,500. He's just going to look good on his own. Looks like a little too cheap. I gave him 33 minutes today. He has a usage rate 22.1 and assist rate 19.4. All that just looks like a little too cheap. But still, for the most part, he's probably not really that much of a core play. Probably only going to be a tournament guy to take some shots on. Next team we're going to talk about is the Washington Wizards versus the Portland Trail Blazers. And now this is a game I love today. This game has an implied total of 240. Second highest total game on the slate. Usually that's going to be the highest, but man, that Nets Clippers game looks great today. So Bradley Beal is going to be the first guy I'm interested in on this game. And this is going to be the fastest paced game too, by the way. 106.25 pace game. Bradley Beal's $9,900. I gave him 38 minutes today. He has a usage rate of 37.1. Assist rate 24.4 and a rebound rate of 8.2. Just really high. His prices come back down to earth a little bit after, those games with nobody else on the floor. Everyone's back for Washington now, so Beal's usage isn't 50% anymore, but at $9,900, he's going to look pretty solid anyway in this matchup. He's definitely going to be someone I'd like to target today. And then Davis Bertans at $4,700 is also going to look good. I gave him 30 minutes today. He has a usage rate of 18.7 and an assist rate only 7.5, but a rebound rate of 6.9 is all going to look solid here. He's going to be a three-point shooter. I don't know if you guys know who Davis Bertans is, but pretty much that's all he does. That's always going to be a tournament option for me. I'm not going to want to get to him in cash, though. Now we're going to go talk about Boston versus Golden State. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum. Look, going to love going back there, as I pretty much always do. 224.5 game total here. The pace of the game is going to be pretty solid at 105.2 as well, so that's going to look pretty good. And Marcus Smart's out. He's going to miss 2 weeks, so I'd expect Jeff Teague, Aaron Nesmith, Kemba Walker even maybe to pick up some minutes. Maybe Tremont Waters or Carson Edwards off the deep bench. But Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum are going to get even more minutes, I'd assume, and some more usage. Even both 38 minutes today. Tatum has a usage of usage rate of 31. An assist rate 19.4 and a rebound rate of 11. Jaylen Brown has a usage rate of 32, assist rate 18.9 and a rebound rate of 9.8. Both look great. They're two top plays for me today. I love going to both Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum a lot today. The next team we're going to talk about is Brooklyn versus the LA Clippers, and this is the game of the day. 243.5 game total, just a great game overall. Honestly, my title favorite. This is my title matchup right now. Based on what's going on right now, I think these two teams meet in the finals. Look, Brooklyn's defense sucks, but their offense is explosive. They've looked like they've been able to gel well together, and I think the Clippers are the best team in the league. I think Kawhi Leonard is the MVP right now, and I just think they're after a year of getting together, the chemistry, it's going to really build now. Anyway, Kevin Durant is $10,100. He's expensive. So is James Harden. He's $10,900. But in this high total of a game, I'm fine with it. They're both going to play 38 minutes. Durant's usage rate at 31.7. An assist rate of 26.6 and a rate of 11.3. Harden only has a usage rate of 25.1, but an assist rate of 40.2 and a rate of 9.8 is going to look good. Both of them are fine for me today. I like going to both of them. And then Kyrie Irving, I'm still going to continue to target. He's been great. $8,800 just hasn't produced into an explosive fantasy game, but I think that could change today. That game's coming from Kyrie, where he's just going to pop off and look great. So I'm fine going back to Kyrie in tournaments for sure. Durant and Harden look fine as well. So now we're going to go talk about Toronto against Orlando. I already said I didn't love this game that much, but there is one interesting thing. So OG Anunoby is out for Toronto today, and Norman Powell is questionable. If Norman Powell misses today, then Stanley Johnson's going to be in the starting lineup. And Stanley Johnson's $3,600. And last time we saw Stanley Johnson in the starting lineup, he was a big-time producer, and he played over 30 minutes. So I gave him 25 right now because I think he's still going to come off the bench and play a lot of minutes because OG's out. But at $3,600, if he's going to hit that 30-plus minute range, that's going to be great. So be sure to pay attention if Norman Powell is going to be out or not, because Stanley Johnson could become the best value on the slate. I prefer, if we have a Stanley Johnson start and a Gary Clark start today, I prefer Stanley Johnson by a good bit. So be sure to pay attention to that one. Now we're going to go talk about Detroit and Utah. So last night's slate, Detroit and Denver, man, they kind of screwed everybody over, right? I mean, the game got canceled 5 minutes before it actually started. That was a little frustrating. I mean, honestly, I wasn't that mad at it because I wasn't the only one who got screwed. You know, like, everybody got screwed. Like, it wasn't just me. Like, a bunch of people played people in that game. Everyone was, like, freaking out on Twitter about it. I'm like, okay, but, like, you're not the only one who's playing people in those games, you know? So it's whatever. It's a funny situation to happen. But then DraftKings and FanDuel and SuperDraft, they all refunded us, so who cares? All of it's in good fun anyway now, so just, move on from that. The Pistons, they said are supposed to play this game today. I thought the Pistons were the one who had a positive COVID test. I could be wrong. On that. I thought it was someone on Detroit, so I didn't expect them to play today, but they said, all reports have said this game's going to happen today, so I don't know. Maybe it was a false positive. I don't really know what's going on over there. So if this game plays, Wayne Ellington, Josh Jackson are going to be the two guys I'm interested in. This game has a total of 221. Probably not the best game to target from DFS, but it's still fine. Wayne Ellington is $5,000. I gave him 33 minutes today. He's another one of these three-point shooters that I like to target in tournaments. He can, we saw, like I always like target three-point shooters. Like, look, we saw Malik Monk go for 9 last night, 9 3-pointers last night, had himself a night. And, Wayne Ellington is capable of that. So, at $5,000, he's definitely going to be someone I'm interested in targeting. And then Josh Jackson's $4,900. I gave him 31 minutes today. He's coming off the bench. Usage rate 24.9. Assist rate 11.9. Looks pretty good for that price tag. Now we're going to go talk about the Indiana Pacers. They played the Grizzlies. This game is a total 221 as well. The only guy I'm interested in on this team is Justin Holiday. He's $4,900. He's going to play a ton of minutes. He's a good three-point shooter. Going to be a tournament-only play for me, but definitely someone I want to have some exposure to. Now we're going to go talk about the Clippers, and the Clippers on side of this Nets team. Like I said, I think the Clippers are the best team in the NBA right now. I think they're going to win a championship this year. And Paul George and Kawhi Leonard are $8,900 and $9,200 in the highest total game on the slate, with the highest implied team total in a fast-paced game as well, against the worst defensive team in the NBA right now. Literally, since Harden's been there, the Nets rank first in offensive efficiency and last in defensive efficiency. It's insane. This team is, I want to target. I love target. Literally, whenever Brooklyn's on the slate, I just say, okay, who's playing Brooklyn? Who's playing Minnesota? Who's playing Washington? I love playing players against those three teams. Today, Portland plays Washington. We'll talk about Portland in a minute. And today, LA plays Brooklyn. So, Paul George at $8,900 is going to look great. I gave him 33 minutes today. He has a usage rate 28.2 and an assist rate 25.2 and a rebound rate 10.4. He's having a great year too. I mean, everyone's talking. Kawhi's had, I talked about Kawhi. He's my MVP pick right now, but Paul George, man, Paul George is playing great too. So $8,900, I think is too cheap for him. And then Kawhi Leonard also at $9,200 is going to look really good. I gave him 34 minutes. He has a usage rate 29.6 and assist rate 28.4. And a rebound rate of 9. So that's going to look great. And then Reggie Jackson, Patrick Beverley is going to miss this game again at $5,100. I only gave him 26 minutes, but we can see him. I wouldn't be surprised if we see him get in the upper 30s here. The last game, there was some blowout run that took out some minutes for him. He has a usage rate 20.6 and an assist rate 21.6 and a rebound rate of 6.7. So that's going to look pretty good for Reggie Jackson today, in my opinion. He's definitely going to be someone I want to get some exposure to. Now we're going to talk about the Warriors side of the Celtics game. The only guy I'm interested in on this team today is going to be Draymond. I mean, you can get Steph if you want. I don't ever have a problem playing Steph, but I just like a lot of your studs better. I like pretty much every stud in the 240 games. I like the studs better than Steph today, so that's pretty much it. But Draymond's $4,900. I mean, look, he's going to continue to be popular, and I'm probably going to continue to fade him. But if he's not going to be popular, he looks like a fine play again. He's $4,900. I gave him 32 minutes. He's got an assist rate of 32.6. I feel like eventually this guy is going to just have a great game, and nobody's going to be on him, and they're all going to be pissed. So be sure to look at ownership for Draymond. If Draymond's getting ownership, I'd probably get off, but if he's not, I'll be there. Now we're going to go talk about Portland. Side of this Washington game, 240 total, highest pace game on the slate. They have a total. Portland has a really high implied team total. They're somehow underdogs in this game. I'm surprised by that. I think Portland probably wins. I think Portland's a lot better of a team. But there is an injury we do have to pay attention to. That is Derrick Jones Jr. He's questionable today. If Derrick Jones Jr. does play, this is what I'm about to say about Carmelo Anthony probably goes out the window. He probably doesn't see 35 minutes then. But if Derrick Jones Jr. is out again at 35 minutes for Melo at $4,700, it's going to look really good. He has a usage rate of 21.3. and that's just going to be too cheap for the minutes he's going to play against Washington. So be sure to pay attention to that one. If Derrick Jones Jr. is playing, he's going to start, and Melo's not going to really be a great play. But if Derrick Jones Jr. is out, Melo probably comes in either starting or coming off the bench, and is going to look really, really good. Enes Kanter is $6,900 today. I love this one today. 25.4 rebound percentage, 17.6 assist or usage percentage, 32 minutes. Man, Washington defensively, especially in the bigs, is just miserable. I think that's just, he's one of my maybe my favorite play today is Enes Kanter. I love this spot for him. Assuming he just doesn't get into foul trouble, he's gonna just be productive and fantasy wise, and I'm gonna love going there. And Damian Lillard's expensive. Like, he's expensive. He's $10,700, and he's probably a little bit too expensive, but I don't even mind it. I mean, like I said, super high total, super high pace, high usage, 30.5 usage, high assist rate, 32%. Damian Lillard's been on a tear recently, and I'm fine just going to keep chasing that. I really don't mind that at all. I'm going to get Damian Lillard for sure today. On the Jazz side, the Pistons game, we have Mike Conley at 6,400 and Donovan Mitchell at 7,600. Both of them look pretty solid. I gave Conley 32 minutes. He has a usage rate 22.8 and assist rate 29.9. This game only has a total of 221, which is not great, but Conley still looks fine. So is Donovan Mitchell. $7,600, gave him 36 minutes, usage rate of 31.5, assist rate 25.1. Don't really stand out a ton to me today, but this is going to be a game that no one's probably going to play, and they look like pretty solid values. They're probably not going to get a lot of ownership, so that looks good. And on the Grizzlies side of Pacers game, I'm only going to be interested in D'Anthony Melton. 4,500, I gave him 20 minutes. That's going to just look like a pretty good value. Low total. Tough defensive team that the Grizzlies have to face against Pacers. So, yeah. I think that's really all I got to say on this. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe on this video. Thank you guys so much for checking this out and being here. Make sure to go check out that Patreon down below. And I think that's really all I got to say today. Have a great rest of your day, and let's make some money.